So you've probably gone online more times than you can count, probably here on YouTube, to figure out exactly how you get your Google business profile to show up in that three pack of Google, where obviously you're going to generate the most types of leads, good quality leads for your contractor, home service, local business here in general. And quite honestly, it's pretty overwhelming. There's a lot of people sharing information here on YouTube. And these days, let's be honest, it's easy to just regurgitate other people's information, other things they find people online. It's never been easier than ever just to create like a script with Claude or ChatGPT to show people exactly what it takes to get into the map listings here. That way, you as a contractor or home service business owner can go and contact that person and pay them money to get you to the top here in the Google search results, more specifically here in the map listings. But I want to share with you guys the 5 things that I have seen over the years that really moves the needle and gets a contractor, a home service, a local business in general into that 3-pack of Google. And this is just what I have personally seen, what I have personally experienced over the years of building out websites. So why exactly should you listen to me? Like I tell people all of the time, I'm just an ex-truck driver. I used to drive for Lowe's. I used to drive a ready-mix truck. I've been a delivery driver, truck driver for most of my life. And over the years, I wanted to make the leap and make more money in a different way. One of those methods was learning how to do websites, SEO and all that stuff. And I made that leap. And eventually I figured it out. It took me a very, very long time to figure it out. A lot of trial and error. And I have personally built well over 100 home service contractor type of websites. I have personally built out probably thousands of pages of SEO content and all that stuff, just me personally by hand. And I have seen what actually moves the needle, what pushes the business, a website and a Google business profile into that 3-pack of Google. And I want to share with you guys just my experience, my SEO knowledge. I've learned from, just like I said, being in the trenches and figuring this shit out as time progressed. And I think I got a pretty damn good idea of what exactly this damn search engine Google is actually looking for to allow somebody to get into this 3-pack of Google. So I want to share with you guys those 5 things that I have learned over those years of what I think actually moves this needle, just based on my experience. None of this theoretical crap that you see here online, tactics and tricks and SEOs, this and all this other tax. There is no tricks. There is no SEO tactics, nothing. So here's the first thing that I always tell people that I think Google is actually looking for. Again, Google is the #1 search engine in the world, and they own the second biggest and best search engine in the world, which is YouTube. And their whole algorithm, from what I've seen over the years, is to consistently and constantly make sure it only looks for what it deems to be the best at anything. If you go on YouTube and type in something like a tutorial on how to fix a header of a website, the top videos on that platform are going to be videos that people liked, people probably recommended, people watched. There's no getting around it. Google's algorithm is designed to only showcase the best. And this is no different with these Google business profiles. From what I've seen, Google is only looking out for itself. It's not looking out for you over here. It's not looking out for your business. It's not looking out for anything other than itself, and making sure it's the #1 search engine for the coming years. Like I said, it's earned its position over decades of mastering the search engine, the algorithm, and all that stuff. So ultimately, Google's only going to allow what it deems to be the absolute best into this 3-pack. It doesn't matter if you're a donut shop, a carpet cleaning, a concrete contractor, a roofing contractor, it does not care. It's only going to showcase what it deems to be the best. And believe it or not, this damn algorithm is so damn smart, so sophisticated, that ultimately it's starting to figure it out. So if you're a carpet cleaning company out in, let's say, for example, Fresno, California, do you really think that you are one of those top 3 best carpet cleaning companies in that entire area? If you truly are, Google's going to figure it out and place you here and get you more jobs, not because it wants to promote your business. Google wants to promote itself and continue being the #1 search engine and give people good recommendations, a good service, so people could keep coming back to Google. So here's the 5 things that I personally think Google's looking for in letting a business get into this 3-pack of Google. Let's start with the first one here. Okay, first and foremost, Google's looking for businesses that are actually using that Google business profile listing, maximizing it, and use it to its fullest. It's Google's property after all, right? It wants to make sure people are using it 100%. So are you using it? Have you filled it out completely? Have you selected the correct categories? Are you uploading pictures to it consistently? Have you filled out the service descriptions that you have on your business profile? Are you posting on that Google business profile regularly? Even if it's just one time a week, 2 times a week, whatever it might be, are you posting on that listing? Are you being active with it? Are you using its property? If you're not using the property, more likely Google's gonna say, you know what? They're not using what I've provided for them, so I'm not gonna promote them. They want you to keep using their property here. And again, because Google's looking out for itself, it wants to promote these businesses here, again, to look out for itself. So it wants to make sure that you're using this fully. And this is probably one of the easiest things anybody can do. You can start fixing up the entire profile, get it done in like 10-15 minutes. I have videos on my channel here. You can figure out how to do any of that stuff. But that's ultimately one of the first things that Google's looking for. Let's go on to the second thing. Now, here's another thing that I think Google's looking for. And when I'm displaying these 5, I don't think any one of these is more important than others. Actually, there's one I think is the most important. I think people overlook it. And I'll share with you guys what that is here in a minute. But what Google's looking for is making sure that a business is trying to promote itself, not just on Google's platform here and other places. So what Google does is it looks for a local business trying to promote itself on other platforms, be it a listing at HomeAdvisor, be it a listing at Yelp, be it a listing at all kinds of different directories. But not only that, they're looking for to see if this business is active in the real world. Are they promoting their business in the local chamber of commerce? And let's say there's like 3 or 4 different local chambers of commerce, all these surrounding suburb areas of a big area. They're looking to see if this business is active in any of those C's. They're looking for the links to that business in all of these directories and chambers of commerce. Why? Because I think Google sees that a business is actually doing that, is actually spending money. They're actually spending time. They're making an effort to get their name out there, and people are seeing them in other different locations. Not only that, they're all locally relevant. Another thing that I've noticed is a lot of these businesses will donate and sponsor local events, local communities, local organizations, and things like that. They'll sponsor a kid's little league team, they'll sponsor a kid's soccer league, they'll sponsor a local Christmas parade, they'll sponsor a local festival, they'll sponsor anything like that. And what happens is a lot of those sponsors, a lot of those organizations will have a page, or at the bottom of the website, they'll see a link from that business promoting that location. Again, this creates more local relevancy. It creates more like real life situations of a business actually trying to promote themselves online. I've also seen when realtors and property managers have vendors on their personal websites. You go on there and see some realtors have their own vendors that they promote, and they'll list on their website. Again, this promotes the business. It creates local relevancy. And just looking at it as a human being, you'll see this is just things that regular businesses used to do back in the day to promote their services. That's how Google's starting to figure out if this one of these businesses is the best and is worthy of being listed here in the 3-pack. So here's number 3, and here's the section where I can help business owners. Did they spend money, time on their website? Do they know their industry inside and out? So another thing that Google's looking for, and this is where I think most people spend their time and they think this is it, this is the magic formula. I don't think it is. I think it plays a huge role, but it's not ultimately what moves the needle. So what Google's looking for, I spent a lot of time here on this channel explaining this, that Google's looking for topical authority, topical relevance, or how I colorfully explain it. Google wants to know if you know your shit inside and out. So when you built out your Google business profile, you've selected the categories that you service in that local area, and you start filling out the services in those categories of the Google business profile. Are you building out pages? Are you structuring an SEO optimized website that completely covers all the services that you offer in this location? And I have spent a lot of time building, like, for example, paving contractor websites. And one of the things that I like to do is break it down from paving contractor to asphalt contractor services to asphalt driveways to asphalt parking lots to asphalt seal coating. Again, paving contractor, concrete contractor paving, concrete driveways, concrete parking lots, concrete repairs, concrete on-ramps, things like that. Paving company, road construction, Do you see what I'm saying? I'm breaking it down into separate categories that the business owner has selected and building a bunch of pages to let Google know that this business owner knows his shit inside and out when it comes to his industry. And if you go online and really start doing some of this research, you'll see some websites that are in this 3-pack will have 50, 70, 100 pages of content on their site explaining to this damn search engine all the areas that they cover, all the things that they do, be it blog posts in the past. I don't do blog posts anymore. I just do service pages. But that's a major, major factor in understanding and letting Google know that you are one of the best in the industry. Think about it like this. If there's a damn good business in a very, very competitive market, don't you think they're going to spend a tremendous amount of money or effort or time in building a really well-structured website? Google pays attention to this shit. This is some of the things that I've learned over the years. So if this is all you're focused on and you completely neglect the listing, and you're not even trying to promote your business online, it's still not going to move the needle. It's not going to place you here because there's other businesses that are going to be doing that in that area. So here's the fourth one. And to me, in my humble and honest opinion, just from doing this for many, many years, I think this is probably the most important thing in getting a listing to rank here in the 3-pack of Google is this business getting reviews? Are they coming locally? Believe it or not, Google knows if the reviews of a business are coming from a local area. Don't you think it knows the IP addresses, right? So let's say I own a donut shop here where I live, and I'm getting a bunch of reviews from a particular area in my town where people really love my donuts. You think Google doesn't know that all those reviews are coming from just from a 1 or 2 mile radius from my local business? It knows that. It knows that 100%, and it starts to see that everywhere. So when somebody's looking up a local donut shop that's good, Google's going to tend to promote mine more because not only are my reviews coming in regularly, they're coming in locally. Another thing too is the consistency of those reviews. So if Google sees a business that's got 20 reviews and sitting there for 20 reviews for the past 6 months, and all of a sudden it wakes up tomorrow morning and it sees 30, and then it doesn't see reviews again for a long time, that just is a bad signal. I think what Google's looking for is consistency. Let's say a business is a carpet cleaning and they're getting 3 or 4 reviews every single week, consistently, just on average, right? And of course, there's industries that get more reviews than others. A donut shop's going to get a shit ton more reviews than, for example, a paving contractor. You're selling donuts every single day. You're only paving an entire parking lot, maybe 3 or 4 times a year. So you're not going to get nowhere near as many reviews as some other businesses. And you think Google's not smart enough to figure that shit out? Of course it is. So this, to me, is a massive, massive ranking factor when it comes to getting this listing in here, right? Because I have done this. I have spent the time and the effort to build people's websites, really, really structure them out correctly. But then I get to the business owner, I see they haven't gotten a review in over 6 months. And then they're wondering why they do not rank. Google just does not trust your business yet. You might have one of these covered, but that's not enough to push you into here. Again, Google's only looking for what is the best. And this is what I think Google's trying to figure out, again, only to protect itself. And here's the last one. This is a totally theoretical one of mine. I have no way of proving this, but this is just what I've seen personally. Do people in that local area actually know that business and know that business brand? So what do I mean by this? Okay, so let's say that I live in Fresno, California. I know my roof needs some repairs and needs some maintenance and shit. I'm thinking about it, talking to the spouse about it, all that stuff. And I just think about it. It's not a decision I've made it quite yet, but I'm getting there, right? So I'm driving around town, and all of a sudden in my neighborhood, I see, or some other neighborhood I go by, I see somebody getting roofing done on their house. And not only that, I see the vehicles parked out in front of the house getting the work done. And I see the branding, and I see the logos, and I see the phone numbers of a roofing company. So I decided maybe to take a snap a picture of it, or just remember the business name. So then when I go home later, I look up, whatever that roofing company's name is on Google itself. Google, I think, knows that I live in Fresno, that I looked up this particular roofing business, and I went directly to this Google business profile and started to look him up for these roofing services. And if there's a consistent pattern going on with that, a lot of people actually typing in that brand name, that business logo, and all that stuff online, I think Google takes that into factor, into really understanding that this business is known in the area. So what Google is going to do is like, okay, a lot of people tend to look up this business by name. I'm going to put that into a factor. This to me raises my eyebrow up here. It makes me realize that this business is a good business. People look them up by name. They have a damn good website. They're getting consistent reviews. I've seen links from all kinds of different places in the local area, and they're constantly using the Google Business Profile. That roofing contractor is one badass, and I'm going to place him here in one of these top 3 in the map listings. So do you guys understand what I mean about you just can't focus on one thing? It's got to be an overall factor, right? This is what I personally believe Google's looking for in promoting a business. There's other little things that I think about too, like answering the phone. I think this would be on here. So for example, if I'm looking for that roofer, let's say I lived in Fresno, I'm looking for that roofer and I type in roofing in Fresno, and I get to this business and he doesn't answer the phone. I get to this business, he doesn't answer the phone. I get to this business and he does answer the phone, and there's a consistent pattern going on that way, right? Let's say 10 calls go to this one and he only answers 2. 10 calls go to this one, he only answers 2. 10 calls go to this one, he answers all 9 every single time. I'm going to favor this business as well and start, this is one of many, many factors in pushing this listing into the organic part of the 3 listing. Or let's say there's one in a 10th spot that consistently answers the phone and is starting to do all 5 of these things. I'm going to start pushing them into this map listing and making sure people find him and get serviced by that business owner. Not because I care about the business. I, Google, only care about myself and want to give the end user the best experience possible. So there you go. Those are the 5 things I think Google's looking for in ranking a business into this 3-pack of Google. This is no SEO shit, none of this theoretical crap. This is just what I've seen over the years. And this is, I don't know, it just seems logical to me. It seems common sense almost in a way. And I think a lot of the time spent with this SEO and the ranking and all this shit is primarily spent on this and some of this. And a lot of people forget about these other factors and getting a business into this 3-pack of Google. And I've seen it time and time again. I've seen businesses that have one shitty ass website. They don't promote anything online. They barely use their Google Business Profile. But maybe they've been around for 10 years. People know them by brand name, and they got a shit ton of reviews. And all of a sudden, their business is listed in here because Google thinks it's one of the best businesses in that location for whatever that service might be. So I hope you guys found this video useful. And if you guys need help with any of this stuff, feel free to reach out to me and go to the description below. Links to everything that I have. If you're really looking to cover this here and this is where I help people the most. I can't really help with this stuff. This is out of my hands, right? But if you need help with a website, getting this thing structured and set up correctly, like I said, it plays a major factor. It's one of the top 5 things I believe. I can show anybody how to build out their own, or if they need help with getting one done, again, all that stuff is in the description below. And if you guys want to learn any more of this SEO stuff I got going on, I'll put links here on this video. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys today. Till next time.